so that if one is within a facility, he will have maximum daylight and easy cross ventilation so that air conditioning can be minimized. It's also designed in such a way that the disabled also can use it. We've created ramps and lifts within the facility that if a disabled person comes, he can easily access the facility in any area that he goes. Disabled toilets too are created in all the levels so that any disabled person can also use it. The number of offices for both the town and country planning and that of the Office of the Administration of Stool Lands are 26 each. But the Lands Commission has 87 rooms. They are based on various sizes. Each department, like the Lands Commission, has a conference facility that houses people of about 120 people. And the town and country planning also have a conference facility that houses 40 people. The same applies to the Office of the Administrator of Stool Lands, also housing a facility of 40 people within a conference facility. Based on safety and fire, the design is linked in such a way that in case of fire, it can easily be evacuated, and one can also link to any part of the facility without coming out of the structure. Copious landscaping has been done in such a way that even if you are within the offices and you come within the courtyard, the landscaping is done in such a way that you feel the greenery of the Ashanti region. We have ample parking spaces within the facility where it's been segregated that visitors who are coming to the facility are parked there, and we have staff parking. There's an executive parking within the basement, executive basement, host facility before they come into the facility. Within the sub-basement, we have water tanks and storage facilities to enhance the structure. It's around 22.7 million Ghana cedis. And the contractor is supposed to take 15 months to complete. So like basically, this is to take you through the various perspectives. This is the eastern wing of the facility, and there's a stream that we are bridging. There's a stream that you bridge over on what the contractor is doing on site, that the project will also come to fruition within the 15 months that has been stipulated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, First Consul.
Afternoon, it's almost 12:30. As we perform this short but significant ceremony to formally begin work on the construction of a new ultra-modern edifice, which will serve as offices of the Lands Commission, Town and Country Planning Department, and the Office of the Administrator of Stool Lands here in Kumasi, the heart of Ashanti. The choice of Kumasi or Ashanti Mine for the construction of this facility is not by coincidence. Indeed, the Ashanti region has been in the forefront of efforts to streamline land administration in this country, especially through the operations of the Asantehene Land Secretariat. Furthermore, the region has a well-organized traditional system of land governance under the watchful eyes of the Asantehene, which guarantees land security. Nana Asantehene, Nananum, ladies and gentlemen, our land is our heritage and the source of livelihoods for the majority of our people. It's the basis of wealth creation and a source of poverty reduction. As a developing country, Ghana relies primarily on agriculture, forestry, mining, and lately oil for the economic viability and the very livelihood of its citizenry. These activities are all land-based, which together provide about 70% of the country's gross domestic product. We must therefore ensure that the ownership of the use of our land resources results in optimum benefits to the people of this country. The long-term economic goal of the government of Ghana is to develop an agriculture and industry-driven economy. To achieve this goal, there's a need for an efficient land management and administration system to improve confidence among investors and provide greater security of tenure to all land users and occupiers of land. Furthermore, it's necessary to address issues of landlessness and access to land for low-income group housing and to ensure more secure tenancy agreements for the use of land and property. Ladies and gentlemen, The aforementioned issues call for more institutional reforms and the re-engineering of the business processes of the leading land sector agencies in the country. It's in this regard that the ministry sees the provision of modern infrastructure and technologies as critical in transforming the land administration system to ensure accelerated economic growth in Ghana. Nana Asantehini, Nana Num, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the strategic intervention to improve land administration service delivery, the government initiated the Land Administration Project, Phase 1 in 2003, to implement the National Land Policy, which was launched in 1999. The 15 to 25-year Land Administration Reform Program aims at providing an efficient land management system for food security, human settlement planning, spatial and infrastructural planning, harmonization of the legal and regulatory framework on land based on an efficient, transparent, decentralized, and sustainable land administration system. OTUMFUOR, Nananum, and Nanahima, ladies and gentlemen, the second phase of the land reform project, Lab 2, continues to implement several initiatives, including pilot customary boundary demarcation, establishment of new customary land secretariats, development of a computerized land information system, support to the street naming and property addressing project in Accra, the development of a land bill to review laws governing land in the country, and the development of policies on survey and mapping. Ladies and gentlemen, two key achievements of Lab 2 are worthy of mention here. In order to address the challenges of spatial planning in the country, especially in the urban and peri-urban areas, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, through the Land Administration Project, has provided funds for the development of a national spatial development framework for the entire country. And this is being done by the Town and Country Planning Department. This National Spatial Development Framework provides a spatial framework for the development of the country for the next 20 years, i.e. from 2015 to 2035. In addition to this, the project has supported the completion of a new land use and planning bill, which is currently before Cabinet for consideration. These two key outputs of the project are expected to change the way we plan and develop our cities and towns going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the second major achievement worth mentioning is the introduction of the Client Service and Access Unit, CSAUs, of the Lands Commission. These, that is the CSAUs, are to be launched later this month, and they will provide clients of the Lands Commission with the opportunity to submit the application on request. Having paid the necessary statutory fees and provided the required information, clients would be required to return at an appointed time for the collection of the results of their request, i.e. could be land title certificates, search results, maps, valuation reports, etc. So you pay in the room, you submit your request or application, you leave, you're given the time to return. You probably will be given a code number so we can check up your telephone number so you can be contacted. And so by these means, the frustrations that clients go through of going daily, weekly, up and down, checking on documents and checking on requests made would be curtailed, minimized, and all you do is present your documents, make your payments, and come back at the appointed time. This is what we plan to do. In other words, we're going to provide one-stop shop services where provisions of services to land will begin and end and reduce the cost of the service delivery, and then, of course, the agony and the frustrations associated with it. Nananum, ladies and gentlemen, this new project, this new building, will be the first one constructed for the operationalization of the Client Service and Access Unit. It will facilitate the inter-operations of the nationwide global navigation dateline system into the operations of the CSAU. So this would be the first of its type to ensure that this concept of one-stop shop really comes into being. And I'm happy to know that all issues pertaining to compensation payments for people who are living or earning their sustenance on the land, this land we're going to be using, have been paid and settled. So there'll be nobody saying, why have you taken the land away from me and you're using it for this building? I've not been compensated. We've seen to that. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, I'd like to congratulate the contractor, Jason Limited, for winning the competitive bid to undertake the construction of the office complex. But I appeal to the contractor and the consultant who's just promised us that things will be done properly, that everything will be done properly, everything will be done according to the plan and to the deadline and timelines. And all specifications will be met. And consultant, you've just been told that the possibility exists to add solar power to the building. Are you there? I can see you. I can see you now. So we can tweak the design and prepare the building to receive solar panels, etc. in future. Thank you. We look forward to the completion of this office. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Nananum here, at my back here, Nanam Ampohine Bantmahine representing Asanteman. So. Then I have my mothers also sitting on my right, Paramount Queen mothers from Kenya's #1 and Hwidiam, all here present. So. We want to say that the importance of land and its management cannot be underestimated. This is more so because gone are the olden days, especially before our contact with the Europeans, owing to small population size and minimal economic activities. Land was in abundance. Land administration was therefore not obvious. So, the reality now is, even though Ghana's population increases time and time again, the size of land given us by our Creator remains the same. So, it is therefore absolutely imperative that we manage the land prudently to sustain present and future generations. So, may I take this opportunity to thank the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Land Administration Project Coordinator, and the World Bank for taking firm decision to construct one-stop shop edifice in Kumasi to provide office accommodation for all the land sector agencies, that is the Lands Commission, the Office of the Administrator of Two Lands, and the Town and Country Planning Department to ensure effective and efficient land management processes. So, it is my understanding as part of major activities, the project was to construct 2 one-stop shop buildings in Accra and Kumasi. So, it is refreshing that Kumasi building is the first to be accomplished. So, it is therefore necessary that I come here personally to lend my support on this special and memorable occasion of salt cutting. So, someone said I had to cut my visit from Rome. Yes, I received blessings from Rome, but I had to come back also to look at lands administration. So, and even today, I had some traditional rights, and I had to break it just because of how dear lands administration is dear to me. Lands for the land management to continue. So, however, it is gratifying to note that the traditional authorities have been compensated for in another form since the project has assisted many traditional authorities to establish customary land secretariats which will cooperate and collaborate with the land sector agencies in the management and processing of documentation. So, all of us are happy that this edifice will be constructed for one-stop shop in the Ashanti region. So, in our celebration, we should not forget that it is not so much the building which will streamline land administration in the country. Rather, it has so much to do with the attitude of the staff of the land sector agencies, Mr. Minister. So, if the attitude does not change, then we shall continue to experience the challenges as outlined in the 1999 National Land Policy document, which was the reason why the Land Administration Project came into being. So, these challenges which we are all disappointed about include poor record keeping, multiple sale of lands, land litigation and boundary disputes, no access to land, uncontrolled development, lack of title, documentation and security of tenure, inability to enforce land laws and policies, the many and conflicting land laws in the country, to name but a few. These were before the land administration project came to be. I wish to put on record that certain land laws are inimical and discriminatory, Mr. Minister, against the Golden Stool and Asanteman in general. These include the Administration of Lands Act 1962, Act 123, particularly Sections 5 and 6, and also the so-called Ashanti Road Appropriation Ordinance 1902, a piece of legislation which majority of lawyers in Ghana are not aware of. Because the Act, Land Act 1962, Act 123, that took over Kumasi lands when they were vested in the government on behalf of the Golden Stool, and still being used, even though I have a court judgment against that, but I also have an arrangement with the lands commissions to still continue to manage. So in managing that, we have to take that also into consideration, because that legal document is still valid. Fortunately, I've been informed that the Lands Administration Project has engaged a consultant to produce a land bill. We look forward to making a meaningful contribution. I entreat the land sector agencies to have regular interactions in the form of workshops and seminars with traditional councils and regional houses of chiefs who are the owners of the land you manage. Nananum do not go to wars any longer. What we have to do is to channel the resources we have at our disposal, particularly land, into development and economic empowerment of our people. We can only do that with the assistance of you, the experts, trained by the nation for that purpose. If you fail to do that, it means you have failed the entire nation. The challenge to you, therefore, is that we look up to you as investors are more likely to commit their resources in countries where title, documentation, and security of tenure are not difficult to obtain. These direct investments are capable of providing employment for our youth and turn the economy around. Honorable Minister, in contemporary Ghana, we cannot speak of land issues without touching on the many